Hey guys, how are we going? Welcome to the review of Ryan Garcia's stunning upset win over previously undefeated Devin the Dream Haney. He didn't lift the WBC 140-pound title, but I don't think he really cares at this stage. I think there's a lot of people out there at the moment eating humble pie, but what a performance by both guys, I will say. Devin Haney, gutsy, hung in there, 3 knockdowns. Possibly could have been 4, if not 5, but 3 knockdowns that were called. And Ryan Garcia, well, who picked it? I know we're all experts in the aftermath, but if anyone picked Ryan Garcia in the lead up to the fight, well, they're a better person than me because, look, I expected a lot better fight than what a lot of people were putting out there initially. And that was more based on the amateur fights between the two guys. They did fight 6 times in the amateurs, 3 wins each. I did give Ryan Garcia a sneaky chance. Again, I know it's easy in the aftermath of it all. I did give him a sneaky chance because I watched one of those amateur fights and it was very, very even. And Ryan Garcia matched up extremely well with Devin Haney. However, with all the antics leading up to the fight, we've all seen them. A lot of people had severe doubts about the mental capacity and even the physical capacity of Ryan Garcia to get through this fight. Devin Haney, of course, right through all his fights, his entire career, always turned up in the best possible shape. And look, you can't begrudge anyone for not giving Ryan Garcia a chance. But anyway, it's always good in hindsight, isn't it? But look, it's right from the first bell. I think it was obvious that Ryan Garcia, well, not even the first bell, to be honest. I think it was in the change rooms watching Ryan Garcia. Looked extremely focused, extremely switched on. Devin Haney, again, always pretty much looks the same, always ready to go. But I must admit, watching the footage of Ryan Garcia in the room, I thought his body language showed that he was 100% there for the fight. And then when the fight started, or even the entrance to the ring and everything else, and when the fight started, I really liked the fact that straight off the bat, Ryan Garcia, taking center ring and really taking Devin Haney on, which I think we all expected. I was really impressed that he took his time. He was very patient. I thought he won the first round, landed a beautiful left hook. Let's not forget that, and really rocked Devin Haney to his heels. And that has sometimes the effect on a fighter that, wow, he got his respect straight away and, of course, staggered him. And I just think that put Devin Haney just back on his heels just a little bit. And to Ryan Garcia's credit, he didn't wail away. He didn't waste punches. He didn't punch himself out. I think he knew that while he rocked Devin Haney, he hadn't rocked him to the point where he was on the verge of finishing him. So I was really impressed with the way Ryan, I won't say backed off, but just waited, picked his punches, knew pretty well straight away that Devin Haney had recovered quite fast. And obviously you do that early in the fight. And knew he'd won the round and just got through, and you could just see the confidence in Ryan Garcia grow and the look in Devin Haney's eyes as he went back to the corner. And even his trainer, his dad, Bill Haney, you could see that, wow, we're in a fight here. The Golden, not the Golden Boy, that's obviously his promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, but King Rai, the young phenom that had really come through the ranks as a kid and had got so much attention through boxing experts and the fans, had turned up to fight in a big, big way. And I know they spoke about it after the fight. That might have been the biggest troll ever with Ryan Garcia pretending that he was crazy. And look, it's good in hindsight to say, well, you know, he trolled everybody and it was the greatest heist of all time as far as this fight. But look, I just thought he handled himself so well. And but again, after that first round, I think everyone was thinking, wow, you know, this is the Ryan Garcia we hoped would turn up. I think a lot of us, or most of us, didn't expect him to turn up. But this is the one that we wanted to turn up. I know I did anyway. And of course, Devin Haney, it was his worst nightmare. And I thought Devin Haney won the second and third rounds. I thought he really settled into his groove. I thought Ryan went into his shell just a little bit, got a little bit too defensive. I know he would have been confident inside having rocked Devin Haney early, but I just thought he just went a little bit reactive for the next 2 rounds. And of course, then he opened up. And look, I haven't got my fight notes in front of me. I'm sort of doing this raw because, again, it's straight after a 3.5 hour watch along. But you know, as the fight went on, I thought it was a little bit tit for tat. I gave Ryan a couple of rounds, but I sort of, with my sort of neutral hat on, and the way I thought the judges would have been looking at it, I thought Devin Haney won most of the rounds. After about round 8 or 9, I thought probably about 8 rounds. I think it was the 8th round actually that Devin Haney was dropped by Ryan Garcia. I thought the referee gave Devin Haney a lot of time to get his faculties right. Of course, Garcia got penalised the point for hitting on the break. I think that was more frustration because Devin Haney was hanging on for dear life. And I did see a comment by, I think it was Paulie Malignaggi, in just one of the quick videos I watched after the fight. He made a good point that this isn't the amateurs, and the referee, instead of just yelling break, should have really been in there a lot quicker to separate the fighters. And I think that's why Ryan Garcia lashed out in a little bit of frustration, because in the amateurs, the referee says break. He won't get in and physically separate the fighters. He just calls break, and the fighters are expected to separate. The pros are a lot different because a referee actually has to physically get in there and separate the fighters. So I just thought the referee just didn't have his greatest night, and he's one of the better referees in the game, I suppose. But I just thought he gave Devin Haney more time than probably what he deserved at the time. Devin Haney, of course, was hanging on for dear life, and good on him. You got to do what you got to do. A couple of times he went down as well. I would have been warning him after that second time he went down by himself. A third time, and I'm going to penalise your point. But instead, of course, Ryan Garcia was penalised the point. And look, I'm not going to argue that it was justified with the point. It just didn't need to be done. And I was really fearful that that point in particular would or could be the difference in whether Ryan Garcia got the fight. So as the rounds went on, I thought after 10 rounds again, I thought it was even, 5 rounds apiece. But with the knockdowns, I thought Ryan might have just been ahead. I thought after 11 rounds, I think I might have had him 1, maybe 2 points up, but I was actually a little bit generous with him with a couple of the early rounds. So I must admit, I was worried or dubious about that last round, whether Ryan could pull it out. And I was sort of not yelling at the screen. Internally, I was yelling at Ryan in that last round. What are you doing? You have to finish off strong. You've got to close out the show. Devin Haney, I think he allowed Devin to win the last round, and I just would have hated if that had been the difference in the fight. Fortunately, it wasn't the case. I thought Ryan Garcia was a deserved winner. I've got the official scores here. So 112, 112. Not really going to argue with that. A lot of those rounds, I could see why the judges went for Devin over Ryan, but without the knockdowns, it would have been a 2-point win for Haney, which is probably not where I would see things. The other scorecard was 114, 110, and the other one 115, 109, both for Garcia. So a comprehensive win on the other two cards, which is probably where I'm probably thinking not even 114, 110, definitely the 115, 109. I can't see the logic in that, because that would mean that it would have been, 8 rounds to 4 for Ryan Garcia. I really can't see that. The other scorecard, which was 112, 112, would have, I think, been 7 rounds to 5 for Devin Haney. And the other one would have been, 115, 113. So it would have been 7 rounds to 5. So just to quickly break it down, it would have been, without the knockdowns and all the points and everything being deducted, it would have been one judge 7 rounds to 5 for Haney, the other judge 7 rounds to 5 for Garcia, and the third judge 8 rounds to 4 for Garcia. I would have thought 7 rounds to 5 for Ryan Garcia would have been around the mark, which would have put me in line with that 114, 110. But either way, I thought Ryan Garcia a very deserved winner. And look, I'm just really happy. I wasn't really sort of caring each way who won, although I must admit there was a little bit of a sneaky feeling that just wouldn't it be good if Ryan Garcia got this, just to shove it up a lot of the people that really wrote him off and really got into him on social media and saying that the fight shouldn't go ahead. And I never probably went that far as to say the fight shouldn't go ahead. I did have some fears about what Ryan Garcia would turn up, but as I said at the start, seeing Ryan Garcia in the change rooms after all the shenanigans of the press conferences and the weigh-in and the social media and all that sort of stuff, I saw a very, very, very focused fighter in the change rooms after a 3-3 split in the amateurs. He knew he matched up really well with Devin Haney, and I think that's one thing we sort of underrated. It was the fact that they had that 3-3 split, which means that Ryan Garcia had the ability to go with Devin Haney. Now, I know it was a long time ago and it was amateurs and pros, but you've still got to go by the ability to match up, regardless of whether it's pros or amateurs. And I just watching that amateur fight that I did, I just thought, wow, Ryan Garcia, he landed the hook, he got close, he slowed Devin Haney down. And again, I know it was a long time ago, but still, it does transfer over to the pros in some way. And that's just the styles make fights mentality of Ryan Garcia being able to get close to Devin Haney, which not a lot of fighters can do, and more importantly, land on Devin Haney, which not many people or not many fighters are able to do. So I think deep down that Ryan and Derek James and the rest of his team would have been quietly confident and sure that they could get to Devin Haney. Now, whether they thought they could do what he did to him and drop him 3 times and hurt him numerous times throughout the fight is another story. But looking at Ryan Garcia in the change rooms, I must have been at the time I thought, wow, this is a guy that's here to fight. Devin Haney, it's really hard to get a read on Devin because he turns up in the same way every single fight, switched on, mentally, physically ready to go. So we knew what we were going to get with Devin Haney, but with Ryan Garcia, we had no idea. And I must admit, when the first bell rang, I just knew we had a fight. As the fight went on, and as I said earlier, I was really impressed with Ryan that he didn't rush it early. He didn't try and get Devin out of there later in the fight when he knew that Devin was fatigued and obviously hurt and been dropped a couple of times. I was really impressed with the way he went for it. And with a little bit of more luck, he probably could have got Devin Haney out of there. But end of the day, as I said, 112, 112, 114, 110, and 115, 109 for Ryan Garcia. And where does this put him now? Well, he's at the top of the tree. I did comment after the fight that I thought, apart from Canelo Alvarez, this guy, Ryan Garcia, is the face of boxing. I think he's going to be an absolute crossover superstar if matched correctly. And we always talk about the styles make fights. If they match him correctly, this guy could be maybe, or maybe not quite, but on the path to an Oscar De La Hoya type of fighter and an attraction. We know he's got the looks. We certainly know he's got the the personality. I know he goes off the rails at different times, but overall he's a very, very, very marketable fighter. And as I said, I think he's going to be an absolute superstar if matched correctly. He did say after the fight he was going to go to 147, which I think is a really good move. I wouldn't want to see him really kill himself to make the weight. And look, to be honest with you, I wouldn't mind even seeing Devin Haney say, you know what, I'm going to go to 147 as well. And that's where we might get the rematch. And there's obviously Boots Ennis up there. Not a lot of other fighters, only Staniosis and maybe one or two others. But these guys, Ryan Garcia's already said he's going. Devin Haney, wouldn't be surprised if he stays at 140 maybe for another fight or two. But I see him at 147 as well. So who knows, 147 could be the pound. 147 pounds could be the division going forward if both of these guys end up at 147 and Boots Ennis is there as well. And who knows, Lopez might move up. I don't know. But at the moment, 140 along with 154 is the division in boxing. And we'll see what happens when Ryan Garcia moves to 147. I'm sure he'll get a title shot straight away. Everyone's going to want to fight him. Devin Haney, I'm not quite sure. There was talk before and certainly after whether the WBC might actually strip Devin Haney for losing the belt. Now we saw with the WBO with Tim Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora that they said that not Sebastian Fundora, Keith Thurman, when it was a non-title fight, they did say that if Tim Tszyu lost that fight with Thurman, that he would be stripped of the WBO belt. So I'm just wondering whether this is the same case with the WBC, where I know Ryan Garcia couldn't win the title, but whether now that Devin Haney has lost, whether they will maybe strip him of the belt or whatever it might be. But lots of things to happen. But at the end of the day, boxing is the true winner today. We love when these sorts of things happen. It just gives boxing a real kick along. And even to a lesser extent, the Tim Tszyu, Sebastian Fundora fight was a similar sort of vein. It just makes people talk about boxing, debate boxing, and whatever it is about boxing that they're talking about, at least it's at the forefront of people's discussion. So, look, I thought it was a great fight. Could possibly be fight of the year. But I just thought, Ryan Garcia, hats off to you, mate. You bought it on the night. And I've never really been a Ryan Garcia fan, but I must admit after today's performance. I am very, very impressed by the way he handled the whole thing and obviously got the job done. And also to Devin Haney for being in there with a bigger, stronger guy. Let's not forget that Ryan Garcia would have had a fair bit of weight advantage on Devin Haney. But he hung tough. He was dropped 3 times. He would have taken a lot of punishment, and he hung in there and went 12 brutal rounds with Ryan Garcia. So how did you see it? I thought it was a fair decision. No problems whatsoever with it. Would I like to see a rematch? Maybe. But obviously Devin Haney would have to go to 147 for that fight to happen. But titles or not, or belts or not, Ryan Garcia behind Canelo Alvarez is now the new face of boxing. And as I said, if he's matched properly, this guy could be a true superstar. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm really intrigued to hear and see what you guys thought. And let's hope both of these guys come back bigger, better, and stronger. And whether we get a rematch or not remains to be seen. But either way, I think both of these guys have got some massive fights in front of them. So I hope you enjoyed the fight, and we'll catch you next time.